Hello, dirty camera. Welcome to the stream. So yeah, this is the irregular hobby show. It's very irregular. I've not done it in months, but I figured with I want to do some more streaming. I'm bored. I want to talk about magic. So I watched a video yesterday from the command zone. Um, the video was on a new commander template. And that template is for building commander decks. So I think it'd be fun to go through my own decks on Archidect and see how they stand up against that, and then make adjustments on the fly and try and get them in better shape. I've picked a particular. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Picked a particular um, words. Sorry, I'm just trying to find my. There we are. That's better. Yeah, so I picked my deck called Fungus Among Us. It is I'm just checking my stream's actually working. That's always a good thing. Yeah, it is fantastic. Um, I'm just going to see if I can hear myself as well, because that's always a good thing. Okay, where did that go? Okay, so awesome. My audio is working as well. Just tested that. That's great. So yeah, back to the stream. So Fungus Among Us. It's based around the Mycotyrant. The aim is to descend as much as possible, make the Mycotyrant massive, and then Hulk smash everything in sight. I've not been happy with the deck for a while. It's been really slow, to be honest, and um, just not really popping off. And I've got a rough idea of what to change. I think my land, I've only got like four basic lands, and the rest are all, there's a lot of slow lands in there, so lands that come in tapped, which I need to change. So yeah, that's less than ideal, but it is what it is. Um, so what does the template look like? The command zone template. So they reckon you should have 38 lands, 12 pieces of card advantage. So cards that allow you to draw more cards, ideally more than one. Um, 10 pieces of ramp, and then 10 pieces of um, what was it? 10 pieces of targeted disruption. So rather than just removal, ways you can disrupt an opponent, and then uh, what was it? 6 pieces of mass disruption. So that could be a board wipe. It could be something that makes all your opponents discard a card. That kind of thing. It's a discharge a card. That's not right. So I'm just going to double check those numbers because I did that off the top of my head. Yeah, it's a 6 mass disruption. Um, 6 mass disruption, 12 targeted disruption, 10 or 12 ramp cards, 12 card advantage, and then your 38 lands. So it was a really good episode, actually. So I recommend checking it out. But they do talk about some of the math. So um, there's something like a 54% chance. If you've got 38 lands, there's a 54% chance that your first 7 cards a will contain 3 lands, which is what you want from a starting hand. And the same kind of goes for the ramp. So if you've got 10 ramp cards, there's a 54% chance that you'll have 1 or more in your opening hand. If you have 12 ramp cards, it goes up to 60.7%. So it kind of makes sense to have that much. So I'm going to look at the Mycotyrant and look at it through the lens of this new template. So off the bat, I've got 36 lands. I do have some dual cards which are both land and other things. So let me change this to type. So Fell the Profane, so that's 37. I'm pretty sure I have some others. I thought I did. Maybe I don't. Yeah, so maybe I've got 37 lands. I thought I had more. Yeah, so 37 lands, including this Fell the Profane. So I definitely need another land. So that means I need to cut something. Next up, I need to look at what my cards are doing. So there's a really good view on Architect categories. You can just have categories, but you can also have multiple categories. So most of my things that I'll tag with multiple categories just to make it helpful. So I go to multiple. We'll see where we're at. So we used to call card advantage, we just used to call it draw. So I look at these cards and just see, are they actually doing what they're supposed to do? Are they giving me more than one card? Or is it just a trade for one card for another card? So let's start by looking at that. I do need to add a land, definitely need to do that. But I need to cut some stuff anyway, so let's look at it from a card advantage point of view. So we've got, off the bat, we've got this card. So what does it do? Sacrifice another black creature, draw a card. So it's just a single card. Draw a card at the beginning of your next upkeep. So it's not an advantage really. Draw a card, then discard a card. So this I can do multiple times. But again, I'm just trading a card for a card, so it's not card advantage. So what have we got here? Sacrifice another artifact or creature, draw a card, activate only as a sorcery. What does the flip side do? You may cast a creature spell from your graveyard this turn. If you do, it enters the battlefield. So again, not card advantage. And that's in the artifacts. So let's have a look at the rest of the deck. So I'm just going to go to type, and I'm just going to go through one by one and see what everything is. So this is good for milling. My deck wants to mill because mill is part of descend, so that's good. Let's look at the artifacts. So this is for milling. This is ramp. This is to create tokens. Shuffle back into my library. Handy for a mill deck sometimes. Draw a card, discard a card. We just talked about that one a minute ago. That's for milling. mill 2 cards, again, it's milling, ramp, recursion. What's this? Oh, that's the one I talked about earlier, isn't it? So let's go back to the Great Door. What does this actually do? So draw a card, then discard a card. Transform. What does it do when you transform it? Add X mana or X. So that's kind of ramp. So I'll just add the ramp category on there. Okay, where do we get to? Soul Cleaver. So the Grim Captain's Locker. Surveil 1. There's recursion. Might cut that, to be honest. Skull Spore Nexus. Creating fungus tokens. I think that's one I'm gonna cut. Gone too far. That might stay. It's good for recursion. Ramp, that's good. Trading Post is good. It's a sack outlet, and it allows me to draw and return stuff from the graveyard. So that's good. This is another milling card. Sacrifice a black creature, draw a card. So I'm going to class that as card advantage, because I can always sack a token or something like that. So I'm going to put that as card advantage for now. I might be wrong, but it is a good sack outlet. Blossoming Tortoise enters the battlefield or attacks, mill 3 cards. So yeah, it's another milling. A little bit of ramp, plus it gives me more fungus, which makes my Mycotyrant bigger. Beginning of your end step, if you descend this turn, create another fungus. That's good. This one might be... I think I put this in originally when I wasn't aware that Descend doesn't work with tokens, because it's a permanent card rather than permanents. Tokens aren't a card, so it doesn't actually trigger. So I'm going to add this to my cuts pile. Another milling card. Got Dredge. More Dredge. More Dredge. Hermit Druid. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a basic land. Put that card in your hand, put the rest in your graveyard. So another card for milling. It's a good card for me. +1/+1 for each creature in your graveyard. Whenever you create or sacrifice a token, each opponent loses 1 life. This is... I like this card, but I don't know if it belongs in this deck. Because whilst I can sacrifice tokens, it doesn't aid me in any way, because it doesn't help my Mycotyrant. So I'm going to add that to my cuts pile. Mycoloth, Devour 2, and battlefield. You may sacrifice any number of creatures. So that's pretty good. It also creates Saprolings. It's a good time. Roaming Throne. I think this is in here because I have it. So I'm wondering whether to keep it or not. I'm going to leave it there for now. More Saprolings. More fungus, more saprolings. So saprolings and fungus both make the Mycotyrant bigger. This is about descending. Again, this might be one that I get rid of, but I quite like the ability there. Good card for milling. Again, making more saprolings and ramp. Okay. Beast Ascension. Whenever a creature control attacks, you may put a quest counter on Beast Ascension. As long as Beast Ascension has 7 or more counters on it, creatures you control get +5/+5. Not a bad card, but it doesn't help me that much. Whenever a creature you control attacks. Okay, yes, so it's not bad. I'm not going to get rid of it just yet, but it is on my list that could potentially cut it. So this is good because anything that's not already a fungus, I could make a fungus, and then it will make the Mycotyrant bigger. Make all the fungus have fear. Good times. Cool sensation. Whenever one or more lands are put into graveyard from anywhere, create an insect, and mill 2 at the beginning of the upkeep. So again, allows me to descend more often, which makes fungus, which makes for a good time. Not a bad card. Return cards down. Enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, if 4 or more creature cards in your graveyard, you may return target creature card from your hand. So recursion, good time. So again, I can see why this is in my deck, because I should be recurring stuff from my graveyard. Choose to discard a creature card to return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. So recursion. I should just look at the categories I've already added. Return lands. Sacrifice a creature, you gain 1 life and draw a card. Mill 2 cards. Bone Harvest. Draw a card at the beginning of your next turn. So it's an instant. I guess it is card advantage because I'm milling and I get to draw a card, so it's pretty good, I guess. I don't know what trial is, so let's get rid of that. Dark Blast, it's got Dredge. Dredge is good for milling. Foul Profane is, I may as well do it while I'm here. This is Targeted Disruption. Lethal Scheme. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. So again, I'll just add Targeted Disruption. So this is one of my other lands actually, yeah. So I do have 38. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. It gains indestructible until end of turn. Tokens. Each token control, create a token that's a permanent copy. Again, if I've already got some fungus, make more fungus. Good times. So we're back onto lands. So I'll have a quick flick through the lands. I do need to look at these lands and cut some of the slower lands. I'm just going to skip land for now. Have I been through the entire deck? I think I pretty much have, other than the lands. Let's have a quick look at the lands. So I'm just looking if there's any draw on these lands. Don't think there will be, but good to just check. This is ramp. Feels weird putting ramp on a piece of land already, but hey. Probably get rid of Rogue's Passage. Okay. So some good lands in there, but again, lots of slower lands that we should just get rid of. Thriving Moor, for instance. I can get rid of Thriving Moor and add a basic. So we'll do that. Thriving Moor is no more. And we'll look at our costs and production. We can add a forest. Okay. So let's look at our categories again. So we've got 2 pieces of card advantage. Not great. But hey, let's look at ramp. It's got 9 ramp, and we need 12. I mean, say we need. I mean, ideally have 10 to 12. So I definitely need 1 more piece of ramp. If you've not used Architect before, these greyed out ones are cards that appear in multiple categories. So I added this category called Descend because it's anything that puts cards from your library into your graveyard is descending. So sack out lists, that kind of thing. So yeah, I need 1 more piece of ramp. Let's have a look at targeted removal. Where is that? Tokens, recursion, evasion, counters, card advantage, recursion, targeted disruption. So I've got 2 pieces of targeted disruption, and I need. Let's have a look. What do I need? 12 pieces. So yeah, this deck is not in great shape. I think the really important things are the ramp and the lands. That said, I definitely feel like this deck is really slow, and definitely need more card advantage because I don't want to get in the position where it's slow and I don't really have the cards that I need. So that's definitely something to look at. So yeah, plenty of work to do. So what we'll do is I need some targeted disruption. So I'm just going to focus on card draw for now, so card advantage. So I'm going to look through. I've got a lot of stuff in my maybe board just from when I built this deck. This is the first deck I ever built. So it explains why it's a bit crap. So this is all stuff we've looked at already. From our maybe board, what have we got? Morbid. If a creature died this turn, you draw a card. Death Touch. Beginning of your upkeep, exile 2 cards from your graveyard. If you can't, sacrifice and draw a card. What's the artifact? Beginning of your upkeep, another card. That's why it's in there. Exile a creature card from your graveyard, draw a card. So that would be card advantage. And then what else have we got? Grim backwards. I don't actually have that. And then sacrifice 2 saplings, draw a card. Sacrifice. So I'll make this bigger for everyone. If a creature your opponent controls would die, exile it instead. When you do, create a 1/1 green sapling creature token. Sacrifice it. It will gain +2/+2 until end of turn. I'll sacrifice 2 and draw a card. So again, I'm going to add card advantage to that. It's not in my deck at the moment, It's quite good though, so I think I should probably add it. Okay, so that is all I've got. I don't have a huge amount of options. I'm just going to review these again. So, sacrifice another black creature, draw a card. So, let's have a quick look at my tokens. Can't block. They're not a black creature. It's just a fungus. So, I mean, technically it is card advantage, but it's not the best. Draw a card at the beginning of your keep. That is card advantage. Draw a card, then discard a card, so that's not card advantage. Sacrifice another artifact or creature and draw a card. So that is card advantage. It's not great card advantage, but it is card advantage. What else have we got? Trading post. Sacrifice an artifact, draw a card. I'm using that more for recursion than anything else. But it technically is card advantage. And then we've got Vampiric Rites. Sacrifice a creature, you gain 1 life, you draw a card. So that's good because I can sacrifice fungus. And that would be a good way to get to draw cards. So that's actually really good in hindsight. So we're up to 5 card advantage. So only another 7 needed. That's fine. So what do we do in these situations? We go to Scryfall. So I'm going to go for black and green. We're going to make sure it's legal in Commander. What I like to do is look at sets that I own a bunch of cards from already. So first off, we'll add draw card. In fact, I'm just going to put draw, which means I don't need those. So I'm going to look for draw in the Oracle text, and then it's going to be Commander legal for black and green. And then sets that I know I've got quite a bit of. I only started collecting Magic with the Lost Caverns of Ixalan, so I've got a lot of that. I've got a lot of Murders at Karlov Manor, probably the only person that actually opened it. I've got a bunch of OTJ, lots of Bloomborough, and Duskmorn, and I'm going to add in Foundations and MH3. I have a collection of cards from lots of different sets other than those, but they're the ones that I can fairly confidently use this as a search term and then kind of feel like I've probably got those cards in my collection. So let's look at what it comes up with. So we're looking for cards that allow us to draw more cards to give us card advantage rather than, a trade for a card. So what do we have? So I actually got all of the Ixalan, Lost Caverns of Ixalan cards in the set. I love the set, so I went and finished it. So even though this is mythic, I do actually own it, which is good. When he attacks, each opponent discards a card. Each opponent who can't, you draw a card. Not amazing. Ogre Cleric, sacrifice another creature, draw a card. If the sacrificed creature was suspected, draw 2 cards instead. That could be good if I was using suspect. What's this one? Thrice Called. When it becomes a target of a spell or ability and opponent controls, draw a card. Pretty good. Additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature. When it enters, each opponent discards a card and loses 2 life. You draw a card and gain 2 life. It's pretty good, but it's not. Ideally, I want something that can fits with the rest of the deck's theme, but also gives me more cards. Bandit's Talent. When it enters, each opponent discards 2 cards unless they discard a non-land card. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, if that player has 1 or fewer cards in their hand, they lose 2 life. Level 3, at the beginning of your draw step, draw an additional card for each opponent who has 1 or fewer cards in their hand. So not amazing. What's this one do? When it deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. So that's potentially good. Actually, that's pretty cool. Barbed Servitor. So let's add that to my maybe list. So I'll add the categories on now. So card advantage. And I'm just going to put it in my maybe board for now. Bandit's Hall, whenever you commit a crime, put a loot counter on. Add 1 mana, remove 2 loot counters, draw a card. Maybe. There's a piece of ramp as well. Bandit's Hall, I'll add it to the list. Okay. So just bear with me 1 minute. I'm just going to check something in my settings. And I'm back. So I'm looking for card advantage cards to add to my deck. And I'm kind of struggling. So let's look at this. Beast-bound Outcast enters the battlefield. If you control a creature with power 4 or greater, you draw a card. Pay 1 life, draw a card. Turn target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. If it's a zombie, I don't have zombies in the deck. Collect evidence 3, add 1 mana of any colour, put 1 lock counters on. It's about 3, then draw. So sacrifice it, then draw 3 cards. To collect evidence, exile 3 cards of a total mana value 3 or greater. So that sounds okay, but we'll come back to that one. That'd be good in my vampire deck, but we're looking at my fungus deck. Sacrifice a creature, draw 2 cards again. It's okay, but not great. Sacrifice this land, draw a card. Deadly cover up, destroy all creatures. Evidence was collected. Nope. Beginning of the upkeep, choose 1, has been chosen. Deals 4 damage to any target, you gain 4 life. That's hardcore. Yeah. And what we've got here, let's click on this one so we can actually read it. Whenever a room control attacks alone, it gets +1. And when you unlock this door, you draw 2 cards, you lose 2 life. So, no thanks. Earth Shaker Dreadmaw. Draw a card for each of a dinosaur. It's not a dinosaur deck, so not great. Doomsday Excruciator. Nice. If it was cast, each player exiles all but the bottom 6 cards in the library face down. Fudge. Discipline of Freya Lies? Yeah. Enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, you gain X life and draw X cards, where X is the power. That is going in my deck. That is good. Disciple of Freya. I don't know if I own that card, but I think I do. I think I do own it. Oh yeah, I do. It's green. I do own it. So we'll add to card advantage. That is a pretty great card. And obviously it's a land as well, so it ups my land a little bit. Good times. So what does that bring us up to now then, card advantage wise? 6. We're halfway there. Dire Sight. Surveil 2, then draw 2 cards, you lose 2 life. Not bad. Additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice an artifact or creature. Draw 2 cards. It's got flashback as well. You only get 2 bites of the cherry, which is not bad. But again, you're sacrificing artifacts or creatures. Maybe I'll add that to my maybe list. Abyss Creators. Yep, I'm going to add that to my maybe list. I like the fact that it's got flashback on there. It's an expensive flashback, but it's flashback all the same. Again, 1 for the maybe board. I'll probably have that card. It's a common, but I'm not 100% sure. If Fanatical Offering. Additional cast. Sacrifice a creature, draw 2 cards, and create a map token. Not bad. I definitely have that card. Attempt to draw 2 cards if you do, lose 2 live. So, yeah, it's not. I mean, it's a good. You get plenty of draw, but it'll also kill you, which is not something I'm looking to do. Fountain Port, sacrifice a token, draw a card. That definitely can go into my into the deck because I have a bunch of those. Okay, let's have a look. Apparently, I have 102 cards now as well. That's a problem to solve later. So Fountain Port without a bat, because that is good. Character Rising. When this enchantment enters, if you control a creature with 4 or more power, draw a card. So that is good. That's going to go in. It's a card I already own as well, which always helps. So card advantage, good times. We'll add that to Fountain Port as well. I don't think I did that today. So Fountain Port is also good for card advantage. What does that bring us up to now? 8. So we're getting there. Adding a couple of cards to the deck. I've got a few cards as well, so I still need to cut some cards, but at least we'll have a decent amount of draw. Whenever a creature control attacks alone, it gains Death Touch and lifelink until the end of turn. Put a dread counter on. So that's quite good. Grasping Shadows. I'm going to put that in the maybe pile. Card advantage, because that's quite good for both. You know, it gives your creature Death Touch and lifelink, but it's also pretty good. It's been transformed, so that's on the maybe board. Hedron Archive. It's ramp and allows you to draw 2 cards. Again, it could be one for the maybe pile. Let's add it to the maybe pile. Probably an easier way of doing this where you can just add straight to straight to the maybe board, but I don't know what that is, so I'll do it the long-winded way for now. Hunter's Talent, these are usually pretty good. So when it enters, target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. Good start. Whenever you attack, target creature gets +1, gains trample. At the beginning of your end step, if you control a creature with 4 or greater, you draw a card. Again, pretty good. Hunter's Talent is going on the maybe list. So I'm looking for stuff that either supports my theme, descending or recursion, but also as either ramp or card advantage or targeted disruption or mass disruption. I'm not asking for much. What's this one? OTJ. Harmorod enters the battlefield. Any number of target opponents each discard a card. For each of those opponents who didn't discard a card, not amazing. See, that's a good card, but would be better in a different deck. Here, Heirloom Epic. Again, not amazing, but not bad either. So we'll chuck it on the maybe pile, and I definitely have it. Search your library for a card, then shuffle, put the library on top. Put that card on top. Target player draws 3 cards and he's 3 life. I mean, that's good and that's good. So let's add both of those to the maybe pile. Insatiable something or other. And Insidious Fungus. Oh, I've added the wrong card. What is it called? See, that looks like a good card to add. It's a tutor, and you draw some cards. So definitely one to add on the maybe board. Will probably end up in the deck. This not only is a fungus, it's also card advantage and targeted disruption. Chuck it on the maybe board for now, but it will probably end up in the deck because it ticks quite a few boxes. Inspiring Call, draw a card for each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it. Yeah, pretty good. I'll add it to the maybe list. The maybe list's getting big. It was already pretty big. It's a good one. Probably won't end up in the deck, but it's pretty good. Excuse me. See, that's good. If I'm making lots of tokens, I can sacrifice 4, surveil 2, and draw 2 cards and gain 2 life. Center of the web. So again, let's add it to the navy board. Okay, so we've got some options coming up. Lead pipe. Sacrifice it, you draw a card. Not bad. It's Eldrazi, so it costs loads. Eldrazi. Oh, it's an instant, so target player creates. Target scries X. Draws a card. What's this one? Each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. This ability costs less to activate if you've drawn 3 or more cards. Nope. Lethal throwdown. Additional cost, you may sacrifice a creature. Not bad. Is she already in my deck? I think so. Yeah, she's in now. Oh, that's Death's Majesty. Pretty good. Don't know if I'll add it though. I do have a zombie deck I'm building as well. I think she's already in that. Whenever a creature opponent control dies. Zombie Knight. Okay, on to the next 60. Poor Patch Formation. Again, that's a good card. Does multiple things for me. So it's targeted removal, targeted disruption, sorry, but it's also card draw, card advantage, sorry. So it kind of fits multiple slots with one card, which is cool. So it probably will end up in the deck. Phyrexian Arena. Pitiless Carnage. So there's some good synergy with that one because sacrificing counts towards descending. So again, good one for the maybe board. So let's find that again. Pitless Carnage. We'll add card advantage, and we'll add descend to it as well. Okay, so again, that's a pretty good sorcery for us. Ravenous Amulet. Sacrifice a creature, draw a card, put a soul counter on this artifact. Sacrifice this artifact, each opponent loses 1 life, equal to the number of soul counters. Again, that's good, that works for us. Sack Outlet. I forgot what it was called. Was it Ravenous? Yeah, Ravenous Amulet. Is it already in there? Yeah, I already have it. It's a good card. Let's make sure it's got the right tags. Card advantage. And it is a Sack Outlet. Okay. I'm pleased about past Chris, who put that in his deck. Good work. So, what's this guy? Red Rock Sentinel Defender. Sacrifice a land or a card. Create a treasure token. That will be a good one for my Necrobloom. So I'm going to write that down. Red Rock Sentinel. So I don't like, this has come up a few times. Each opponent discards a card. For each opponent who can't, you draw a card. It's just not reliable enough for me. So, yeah, it's not bad, but again, it's expensive. You have to pay the flashback to get the card draw. But yeah, it's targeted disruption and card draw, card advantage, but expensive. That's just a bit nasty. Whenever an opponent, oh no, that's good. That's good. Beginning of the upkeep, each player draws a card. Whenever an opponent draws a card, that player loses 1 life. Yeah, that's good. Let's add that. I don't know if I've got the card. But it is good. I'm not even going to take it out of my. I'm going to leave it there as if I'm going to get it because I think it's really good. See if the crime enters tapped. I've already got loads of tapped. Tap it on tap creature you control. Add mana of any colour. Draw a card, that's not so bad. Okay, Scene of Gathering. Choose up to 5. +1/+1 counters, it gains vigilance. That's good. Ooh. Yeah, I like that. Season of Gathering. So I can boost or pump creatures and draw cards. And then Season of Loss, look at this one. So each player sacrifices a creature, so that's Disruption. Draw a card for each creature you control that died this turn. Each opponent loses X life, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. Again, these two should be in my deck. They're cool. So let's get them added. Okay. It's draw and it's targeted. Oh no, it's Mass Disruption. Card advantage, Mass Disruption. And a little pumpy pump. Which is good. And then Seasonal Loss is Mass Disruption. A card draw. Card advantage, sorry. Very cool. I think they're both going to go in. I can't see why I'd take them out. Beginning of combat on your turn, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. It's pretty good. So this is good and cheap. I like it, but I just don't think it's going to go in the deck. Yeah, it's cheap, but it's not amazing. It's good, not amazing. Spelunking. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. Then you may put a land card from your hand into the battlefield. If you put a cave onto the battlefield, you gain 4 life. Lands you control enter the battlefield untapped. It's not a bad enchantment, but I don't want to use up one of my slots for it. This is pretty good. Stocking the Pantry, so that'd be a good one for other decks. It's not really a big token deck, but I do have some other decks that would be good for, so I'm going to write it down. Was it Stocking the Pantry? That could go in my Helga deck. Excuse me. Enters battlefield, spell 2, then for each card you put on top of your library, you draw a card and you lose 3 life. That's a lot of life. I don't really want to lose life. There's a reason that's in my deck already. It's a sack outlet and card draw. But let's make sure it's labelled correctly. Okay. Get the drug. It deals combat damage to a player. You may sacrifice a creature that's sat on it. If you do, draw its cards. And that's pretty good. Trash the town. Choose spree. So choose one or more. Put +1/+1 counters on. Target creature gains trample. End of the turn, target creature gains. Whenever this creature deals combat damage. Excuse me. Yeah, it's not bad. Let's have a look at this one. Beginning of your end step, draw a card. If you control a demon, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Otherwise, you lose 2 life. And whenever you unlock this door, create a 6/6 black demon creature token with flying. So that is cool, and will go in my my vampire deck. Carvalho. Holy Annex. Let's go in my vampire deck. So I will go through each of my decks and do this same exercise, just trying to improve them. I think this is the deck I've put the most effort into, and is probably my worst deck, in that it never really pops off. But hey ho. Whenever this creature attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, draw a card. This creature can't be blocked this turn. Okay. Never legendary draw deals combination to play, draw a card. So that's good. When it enters the battlefield, put a death touch counter on each creature you control. Yeah. That's good as well. So let's add those to the list. Vampiric Rites. It's in there already. Of course it is. Of course it is. Let's make sure it's got the right labels on. So card advantage on sack outlet. Yeah, cool. I was very excited to be adding that card to my deck, and then yeah, I've already added it. Breska. Joins up. That definitely belongs in the deck. That is cool. That will make my deck much better. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, choose 1. You gain 2 life. You draw a card. You lose 1 life. Again, that's another good one. Wardens of the Cycle. I add it to maybe board because I am. So let's look at the deck now. And we'll also look at the time. It's 9:10. So, where is my deck at? I've added a bunch of cards, which means I need to cut some cards. I've already cut 5. Let me just check that these are actually stats. Okay. Right, let's have a look then. I've got 5. Okay, yes, I've only got 4 cards I need to get rid of to get back down to 100, and then let's have a look at. So card advantage is now at 14, which is a much healthier position, and mass disruption's up to 2. Targeted is up to 2, but I think I'm sure I did some more that were. I think I added them to the maybe board, didn't I? Yes. So my maybe board is massive because it's the maybe board that I've had since I started to build this deck. So it's got loads of stuff in, and yeah, loads of them I've had them in the deck, and then I ended up getting rid of. High market card that I need to get. What's this grin backwards? So that 100% needs to go in my deck. So I'm gonna take it out of the maybe board. Because again, I can sacrifice a token or a creature and get a card. But it's also a land, and it's not a slow land. It's not a card that I have either, but you know, that's okay. Okay, so we are in much better shape. We have too many cards, but otherwise, we yeah, otherwise we're okay. I'm probably going to get rid of Beastmaster Ascension. Don't think it adds that much. I mean, it's problem here is that individually they're all good cards, right? Or most of them are. But does it help me? Does it help the Mycotyrant grow? Directly, yes. If I play it, I don't know. It makes all the creatures better, doesn't it? Maybe that does stay in there. I don't know. Decisions. So what are these artifacts doing? See, this is good because it is it pumps. So it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, which is good. In fact, I'm going to change this so that's the primary. I don't really need to know if it's an artifact or not. Let's look at this. Okay, get rid of that. So we still have 5 to go. This is the hard part. Cutting. So let's look at land. I've got 37 land plus. Is that right? There's a couple in there that should, well, there's a few that aren't showing as lands, but they should do. So let's look at this. This should appear in land. Is it not? Am I just being silly and not seeing it? Oh, it is there. Cool. Fell the Profane. And what was the other one? This one, wasn't it? Revitalizing Repast. Okay, so 37. So yeah, I don't have enough land still. So I need to gain a land. And it needs to be a land that helps me. Okay, so let's look at the maybe board. Demolition field, destroy a land, down not so many research land, basic land. That's not bad, that's good. Expensive, I guess. See, that's not really card draw, it's cards, well, kind of card selection. What's this one? Whenever a creature control attacks alone, it gains Death Touch and Lifelink. Sacrifice creature, you gain 1 life. So that would be a good addition because it's a sack outlet and a land. It gives me life. So this is a... Let's have a look. Hey Daz, how you doing? Daz Maul in the house. Good man. Choose target creature, you lose 2 life. Until the end of the turn, that creature gains. When this creature dies, return to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. And then what is the land? Enters battlefield tapped. So not great. I'll leave that one where it is. Where was I? Okay. Sacrifice creature, you gain life equal to the sacrifice creature's toughness. That's nearly as good as High Market. Phyrexian Core, so that would be good in my vampire deck with blood tokens. Not so much in this. Reliquary Tower and Tainted Wood. So I imagine Card Market is expensive. Let's have a look. Not Card Market, what was it? High Market. High Market. So it doesn't say it's that expensive. I think that is a land that should go in my deck. It's a sack outlet and a land. Gives me life. Happy days. So that sorts out my land. My 30... That should be 38 land. What did I do with that? Where did it go? Land, 37. Did I just get rid of it? Yeah. I is smart. Oh, it is there. Oh, I was looking at the wrong list. Was I? I don't know why it's not in there. Let's go back here, another leg. I removed the wrong thing, didn't I? I did, yeah, I did. It's a land. Okay, that brings my lands up to 38. Happy days. I still need to address my lands. I've still got a lot of slow land that I need to remove. But that is for another time, I guess. So sort of the land, to some degree, we've got card advantage. We have some targeted disruption, but nowhere near enough. We have some mass disruption, but again, nowhere near enough. But they're easy additions, I think. Very easy additions. It does mean I've got to get rid of 6 cards. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to get rid of. What to get rid of? I'm kind of tempted to get rid of the roaming throne, which might be very silly. What do you think, chat? Roaming throne going? I mean, it's a good card. Choose fungus, so it adds to Mycotyrant's power and toughness, and it would trigger things again. So, triggered abilities at the beginning of your end step. So let's just do a little bit of MTG triggered ability. Let's just double check this because okay, so it is a triggered ability. So yeah, that would trigger the Mycotyrant twice. So it is a good card. I mean, we know it's a good card. It's roaming throne. I think it stays. I think it stays for now. So I've got 23 creatures. Is that enough creatures? Activated is when you tap. What does Roman Throne say? Is it triggered or activated? Triggered. So triggered's good. We like triggered. Okay. It's 23 creatures. I feel like I've got too many artifacts, but do I? I'm wondering, do I have enough artifacts? Not if I have enough artifacts. Do I have enough creatures? Um, See, no rest for the wicked. I'm not sure about this one. Like, it sounds good, but is that every turn? Really, just the turn you play it? If you sacrifice no rest for the, oh, okay, you sacrifice it. Okay. See, it's good, but it's kind of like a one shot. It's a good one shot though, isn't it? So I think it stays. I think I need to get rid of this anthem. I don't think it helps me that much. So I'm going to throw that into the cuts pile. Again, I find it difficult to cut cards because you read them and you think, yeah, that's cool. That works with X, Y, and Z. But it needs to work on multiple levels in the deck and not just be a good card in its own right. So there we go. Milling's good. I need to mill. So I probably have enough creatures because milling is my friend. I don't want that many instants or sorceries because they don't count towards descend, I believe. I can't spell descend. Let's go back to here. Typing under pressure. Oh, thanks, thanks, Macaroic. You're right. It's a pretty good card, especially if I've like lost a bunch of cards. Yeah, yeah. So I could have milled a bunch of cards with before sacrificing No Rest for the Wicked. Yeah, very good card for this deck. What was I going to look at? Descending. So I'm wondering whether to get rid of a few, well, whether I can get rid of some sorceries or some instants, or whether we should look at those as ones to get rid of. Because if they don't contribute to descending, then they're not as good. So permanent card. So instant and increase. Let's look through these instants. No, no. So another chance makes sense to stay. It mills and it's recursion. So maybe I look at these instants and think, do they do multiple things for me? So this is card advantage and recursion. This is, well, it's dredge, so it's good. It's also targeted disruption. When I say dredge is good, if you don't know what dredge is, basically instead of drawing, it allows you to mill to pull that card back into play. Again, this is good because it's targeted disruption and a land. Lethal scheme is targeted disruption. Has convoke. So this is also draw a card, then discard a card. Discard a non-land card, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. See, that's good as well. Discard a card. Draw a card. Yeah, that's a hard one to remove. It's not card advantage, but you are getting to draw cards and then discard your worst card. And if you're not discarding a land, then you're getting a +1/+1 counter on the creature. So it's pretty good. It's removal and it's pump. It's protection and a land. Second harvest. For each token you control, create a copy of that token. Again, hard to get rid of that one because if the Mycotyrant's got a bunch of fungus on the board, fungus tokens, I could double them, and that's pretty massive. So hard to get rid of that one. So I've not got rid of anything yet. So that's the instance. They're all kicking ass. So let's look at this then. Some sorceries. Bygone Marvels. When you cast a spell, if there are 8 or more permanents in your graveyard, copy the spell twice. So return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand and exile this. See, I think while that's good, I don't think it's amazing. Card info. Return up to 2 target creatures from the graveyard. You put 2 +1/+1 counters. See, that's okay. So that is both recursion and mass disruption. Lich Knight's Conquest. Let's look at this one. Sacrifice any number of artifacts or enchantments and or tokens. Return that many creature cards from your graveyard to your battlefield. Again, it's a sack out there. The problem with it is, unless I'm sacrificing artifacts or enchantments, it's not amazing. And it's expensive, so I'm going to get rid of it. Let's go into the maybe board. I've made a decision. Can you believe it? Pickless Carnage. Let's have a look at this. This is one I just added, I know. In fact, we're looking at Life from Alone first, aren't we? So Life from Alone, return up to 3 target land cards from your graveyard to your hand. See, that's staying in. It's got Dredge, and if you're looking for land, well, it's better to be looking at land than looking for it. Sacrifice any number of permanents you control, then draw that many cards. You may pay, and then exile this card from your hand. Cast it as a sorcery on a later turn without paying its mana cost. Plot only as a sorcery. See, this is good. But is it that good? I don't know. I'm going to put it on the maybe board. It could be a mistake, but I'm doing it because I need to get rid of some stuff. Screaming Phantom. Whenever a Screaming Phantom attacks, mill a card. I don't think it's a particularly strong creature, but it does have flying. These two cards are going to stay because they do multiple things for me. So what are we up to? We need to get rid of 3 more cards. So let's look at our artifacts. Sacrifice creature, target player puts a number of. So sack outlet, mill, definitely stay in. Arcane signet should probably stay. It's ramp. Reveal the top card of your library if it's a creature card. Create a 1/1 green sapling token. If it's a land, put that card on the battlefield under your control. So that stays. That's good. That stays. That should probably stay. This can probably go, to be honest. Put it on the maybe board. It's good. It's a good card. Let's pay 4. So in the end game, it could be for a big turn. But I am leaning towards getting rid of it. Millstone makes sense. Oh. Perpetual Timepiece, more 2 cards. See, again, that one stays because it's just good on 2 levels. Gets a mill, but also if I need to put some cards back in the library, I can. Sacrifice a creature, so sack outlet. Again, that's a good one. Sword of Light and Shadow. Bit of recursion and +1, +2, +2. Sack outlet. Discard your hand. See, it's a good one. I can't see myself wanting to sacrifice my hand very often now. I'm just going to get rid of it. I'm making a decision and getting rid. Again, it's kind of cool, but discarding your hand is not something I do very often, and the upside is not as good as I think it could be. Soul Cleaver. Again, that's going to get things going big. So if that's on the Mycotyrant gets very big. Grim Captain's Locker Surveil 1. Until the end of turn, each creature in your graveyard gains escape. Just double check escape. To determine the total cost of a spell, start with the mana cost or alternative cost you're paying, such as escape cost. Add any cost increases, then apply any cost reduction. Once you can cast a spell with escape, it immediately moves to the stack. Players can't take any other actions until you're done casting the spell. If you cast a spell with its escape permission, you can't choose to apply any other alternative costs to cast it without paying its mana cost. If it has any additional costs, you may pay those. If a card has multiple abilities giving you permission to cast it, such as 2 escape abilities, or an escape ability and a flashback ability, you choose which one to apply. The others have no effect. See, I think that's really expensive. So I'm going to get rid of it. Okay, I'm just going to go into the maybe pile. It is recursion, so I'll add that to the list. But it is going to the maybe board because I just don't think it gives me enough value. Now that's a good piece of ramp, but could it do more? I don't know. Let's have a look. What do we need to get rid of? We need to get rid of one more. Is there a enchantment to get rid of? See, Liliana's good. She's going to stay. I think I'm going to get rid of this undergrowth recon. Whilst it's good, I just wonder if it's actually going to be that good. Choose and discard a creature card. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. I think one of these has to go. That stays. That's good. Oversold. See, that's okay, but I think I can live without it. So I'm going to put that on the maybe board. The only thing, so I'm 100 cards now. There's some cards in there that I don't actually have, so let's find those. I'm pretty sure I actually have that. Let's have a look. My lovely pink binder. Victor's Carnage. Yes, I do have it. So I've got that. I've definitely got the Seasons cards. Let's just double check now. Seasons Scoring, Season of Loss. See, I don't have Season of Gathering by the looks of it. I do have Season of Loss, but it's a alternate version. I can't believe I don't have Season of Gathering. That's wild. Let's just double check. Yeah, I can see where it should go. Wild. Well, it's not that wild, is it? And I do have Pitless Carnage, so we can add that. So we do have that. Add to collection. Fountain Port. So we can add that there as well. Let's see if I've got this. If Vraska turns up, joins up. What number is it? 336. Let's have a look. Do I have it? I don't think I do. No, I do. I've got it. So I'm just going through the ones I've added already. I want to try and avoid having to spend much money because, you know, one of the reasons I look through the cards that I'm likely to have is to avoid spending more money than you need to, because Magic can be very expensive. And I don't know, I always like to build from what I've already got and then gradually upgrade the deck as you go, which is how this deck started, to be honest. And it started with a lot of cards that I already had, and then over time I've got cards here and there that are good to replace crap ones. So I need High Market, Grim Backwards. Is that it? Oh, and Seasons of Gathering. So that's 3 cards. Just double check that. And Scrolling Crawler. Again, I think I might have that, but I'll have to double check. And then what was the other good one? Barb Servitor. When it enters battlefield, suspect it. It has menace and can't block. When it deals a combat damage to a player, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. See, that's cool. That's very cool. Let's see if I've got it. Don't know if I have it. I've got most of the Karloff mana. I do have it. I'll add it to the collection. I might add it to the deck at some point. I'm not going to do it today because I think the deck's in pretty good shape. Obviously, there's a few cards that I need to get, but otherwise, they're okay. And in the meantime, while I don't have these two lands, I'll just increase the number of forests that I've got. What's this? Crucible of Worlds. You may play lands from your graveyard. Okay. That's my cuts. So yeah, I've got some work to do on the deck. Got to get rid of some stuff. But that's always fun. So that's cool. So that's in. I've got my land sorted. I've got my card advantage sorted. Bit overkill, really, but we can maybe knock something down. I need to sort out Mass Disruption, Ramp, and Targeted Disruption. So Targeted Disruption is nowhere near where it needs to be, and Ramp is a few off, so probably need another 2 Ramp. But I think Ramp's probably quite easily solved. So yeah, I think the next stream I'm going to play this deck in the meantime, as it is, except for those 2 or those 3 cards that I'm missing. And then what I'm going to do is look at Targeted Disruption and add in some more Ramp, as well as the Mass Disruption. And I think what I'm going to need to do is then weigh up looking at what is contributing to Mycotyrant's abilities, the whole theme of the deck, but also ticking boxes like, is it ramping me? Is it causing disruption? Is it giving me extra cards or whatever. So, you know, getting as much value from each card as possible, and then getting rid of the cards that have lesser value. So yeah, this has been a good fun. Normally, I do this just on my own and not have to talk through stuff and read out loud, but here we are. That's what I've been doing today. And I've had a good fun. I'm going to do more streams like this. I'm going to go through each deck and do this exercise. I did one of them earlier, so if I go to my decks, I say did it. I've not changed anything. I've just added the categories to see how it sort of stacked up, and also needed to add the categories for this particular stream. So this is my Helga deck. I've got 10 pieces of card advantage. I've got 36 land, so I need a bit more land in there. Targeted disruption is 11, so that's good. I don't know if I've got any mass disruption in there at all. I've got one. What about a ramp? Do I have any ramp? A pump? Mass disruption, removal. Yeah, ramps. I've got 17 pieces of ramp, apparently. So I'm all right for ramp. Wow. I mean, there's a reason there's so much ramp in there. Is Helga's ability, but I can definitely lower the amount of ramp. But yeah, Helga's a fun deck. It's good fun, but it needs a bit of work. So I might do this next stream. Go through Helga, because it's closer to what it needs to be. But again, this is a deck that it was a pre-con, and I've upgraded it, so it's already a decent level, and I've just been able to add bits and bobs to it to get it where it needs to be, and so it's not far off. It's classed as is it optimized bracket 4. That's changed because that was bracket 3 a few days ago, so I'm not sure why it's now optimized, because it has this smothering tithe. But hey, it's a decent deck. It could be better, and I think the mass disruption probably needs changing a little bit, and card advantage. I could do with some more card advantage. What I found the other day playing this was I just wasn't getting the cards that I needed, and I just had a couple of cards in my hand that just weren't. I had them in my hand for ages because I couldn't play them. They just didn't really help me. Food chain was one. I decided to get rid of that. Just doesn't really, it's kind of a lot like Helga, but I've already got Helga, so why bother? So that's getting cut. But yeah, I digress. I will do this stream again, but I will finish the Mycotyrant first. So next stream, be back on the Mycotyrant, and we'll look at getting some targeted disruption and some mass disruption, as well as ironing out a few of the kinks. So yeah, I'm going to add a little note to this. This is available to view online. If you were so interested, you can go and copy it, make it better, do a better version, and send me a link. What I'll do is description. No description yet. How do I add a description? So I'm adding some notes myself. Nice and fun. This is great television. I'll do this for myself later. So yeah, I'll be streaming again probably next week, and we'll finish this deck off. Say finish off. We'll get this deck to where it needs to be in terms of the template, and then I think it will play a lot better as well, because that's the problem. It's just not really playing well. Um, so yeah, get a bit of synergy there, get the template working for me, and we'll be in a good place, I think. So yeah, if you've enjoyed this, awesome. I'm going to upload it to YouTube as well. If you think there's a card I should add, leave a comment. Tell me what it is. Yeah, there's probably loads of cards that I could have added that are reasonably priced, but I just don't have them yet. So yeah, anything like that, just add it in the comments. Yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you soon. Have a great one. Bye, bye.